अंदर का भी सब बदल जाता है क्या? ऊपर का तो दिख रहा है, नीचे का पता नहीं भाई साहब। एक काम करें, इसके पति को बोलते हैं भाई एक दिन एक्टिविशन रखते, हम भी देखें जरा लड़का लड़की बनने के बाद दिखती कैसी है। बहुत बढ़िया, बहुत बढ़िया।
Well, it's safe to say that it's been a rather forgettable and annoying weekend at the movies. The moment I thought it was all over and we could move on with our lives, I kept on getting recommended to watch one particular series. A series that is an excuse of a series. It's more or less a film chopped into 6 pieces of 20 to 22 minutes each, and it's called Pati Patni or Panga. The extramarital affairs were getting boring for Indian creators, so they wanted to spice a few things up. Who knew I would see two masterpieces being created by Abir Sen Gupta in the span of just a few days? Yes, Pati Patni or Panga is freely available on MX Player, a web series that anyone can watch, which has garnered over 3.4 million views over the weekend and is directed by the same creator who brought us Indu Ki Jawani. Now, doesn't that excite you? My disappointment is twofold. First, to see Navin Kasturia in such an awfully written series, which I will come to later, and the most problematic of the reasons, the lack of effort made in creating an informed fictional piece that best represents the LGBTQI community. The series focuses on a failed property dealer in Mumbai, Romanchak, played by Naveen, who stumbles upon Shivani, a transgender woman, looking for a place to rent out as she is new to the city. Romanchak offers a room in his own house, and he is helplessly attracted towards Shivani. This eventually leads to a bit of hanky-panky, eventually marriage, and the revelation that Shivani has undergone a gender-affirming surgery. The man is baffled and disgusted at this very thought, files for divorce under the pretext that he wasn't informed of this, even though the transgender woman clearly communicated this. But the man thought that it was banter. He exclaims, if such a beautiful girl is going to say that she underwent surgery, then of course she is joking. The series is a prime example of how uninformed and crass writing can do such a disservice to the atrocities and trauma faced by a marginalized community. The intention of the series to be a game changer in representation actually does more harm than good. It actually, in the process of telling the masses a story of a transgender woman, perpetuates the same problematic stereotypes that we as a society want to progress from. Before I absolutely butcher this series because it deserves only and only that, I have to tell you that Navin Kasturia is my introduction to the possibility that there can be another avenue of engaging content in India other than films. I remember 5 years ago, a time in which the YouTube landscape was pretty barren, and seeing him in the lead role in the series Pictures by TVF, and being blown away by the talent involved and the vision of the creators to design something that will be a step forward to the digital revolution. Kasturia is a great talent who I got second-hand embarrassment for while watching him feature in this series. I think Adah Sharma also got lost in the sauce of presuming that this will be a game changer in representation and the lure of featuring in something where she is the prime focus, while in hindsight it just misinforms the masses even more about the complexities that come with the transgender woman. First of all, every single freaking character in this world is a bigot. What is a bigot? A person who is restrictive in his or her mindset and has preconceived notions of people if they belong to a particular group. अबे वो छोड़ो जो seemingly progressive भी है ना इस शो में, वो भी eventually in this crass writing are exposed as inconsistently fleshed out. The first scene of a lawyer taking up the case of divorce looks at the images of the transgender woman and is baffled, exclaiming ये तो काफी सुंदर है, figure भी बहुत अच्छा है, because you know those things are not possible regarding a transgender woman. You know, the portrayal of gay characters in old Hindi films, we would always notice that these characters would be perpetually horny and even worse would be physically harassing characters. This was the trait that was associated with people from the community. Abir Sen Gupta tries to reaffirm the same dated and problematic portrayal in 2020. In one of the sequences, an individual who says मैं boy हूँ पर अंदर से पूरी girl is taken by Naveen for apartment hunting, while on the scooty the individual is copying a field constantly against the man's consent. Naveen stops the vehicle and says, पास में अस्पताल है, वहीं पे अपना इलाज करवा ले, समाज में गंद फैलाया हुआ है तुम लोगों ने. While this is a man who believes in the independence of women, the importance of being self-sustainable, actually speaks in opposition to this regressive notion of what women should do, In other scenes, he absolutely is rude and inhumane. The inability of the men to get laid in this series is so obvious. If you look at the conversations between him and his best friend, you will develop such anger and annoyance towards the writing that you will wonder, no shit, we're so ignorant and behind about so many social aspects. The friend, the moment he gets to know that Shivani is staying at Romanchak's house, says, "मेरे घर में ऐसा माल पड़ा होता ना तो मैं expiry date निकाल चुका होता." Yup, that's a line. When the friends are discussing about initiating sex, they bring up the most turkey solution. Daru pilao usko, he says. Every single person who is fearing any homosexuality in the house is getting constant nightmares. The mother is basically Kantaben, who is perturbed by any males interacting with her son. She gets nightmares of the possibility that her son might be gay. Navin, knowing about Adah's gender-affirming surgery, gets flashes of him sharing his bed with a man. The thought of it only makes him vigorously vomit. Or visions of his wife peeing while standing up next to him. It's all traumatic for this poor man. The most problematic aspect of the series, especially in its writing, is that Adah keeps on acknowledging that she was a man and after a sex change surgery, now she is a woman. She says, "पहले मैं लड़का थी, अब मैं लड़की हूँ. 6 महीने पहले sex change करवाया था." Even Adah Sharma on social media said that she was a man who turned into a woman for this role. Even MX Player described the series as that of a trans woman and a man, that of two men. Something that is offensive and a statement that transgender women will never state, as they were always women, and it also spreads information that the existence of transgender women is only acknowledged when they have a gender-affirming surgery, making their existence prior to this insignificant. Vijay Sethupathiy's character from Super Deluxe, while talking to her son Raskoti, says this only, that he was always a woman. In this series, however, repulsed at the fact that according to him, he has married a man, Romanchak shouts, "Londe se shaadi kar liya maine." The same opinion is echoed throughout for comedic gags, not for eventually characters to learn and grow. Most of the gags are intended for comedy. The background music will reaffirm that itself. It's not rocket science. While uncles of the society stare at Shivani, they say, "अंदर का भी सभी बदल जाता है क्या? ऊपर का तो दिख रहा है, नीचे का पता नहीं." हस्बैंड को बोलते हैं कि एक बार एग्जिबिशन कर दे, हम भी देखें जरा. While trying to discuss matters regarding the divorce, Romanchak says man to man बात करते हैं. Lawyers scoff at the possibility of fighting the case. Even a woman lawyer says, "ये आदमी बनना और औरत बनना भगवान का काम है. भगवान के काम में दखलंदाजी करते हो, इसलिए ये punishment है तुम्हारी." You might wonder that these are all presented as roadblocks in the journey of eventually educating the viewers. Trust me, the writing is not nuanced in any way to develop that way in its conclusion. It actually completely diverts the attention from the trials and tribulations of transgender women to be about women objectification and the societal subjugation that they feel. It's two different battles that the creators failed to acknowledge. The battle of the gay community to love whosoever they want to is equated to the same battle of transgender women, of who they intrinsically are and want to be. The father who still tries to convince his son of not going through the divorce is not because he is educated in the complex topic, but because they should keep the sanctity of marriage intact. You know, society sochegi vagera vagera. Both the characters who are the most close-minded, the mother and the son, are provided such weak arcs of redemption that you actually realize there has been no thought of actually breaking stereotypes through this venture. Pati Patni or Panga will only make the ignorant section of society believe that this is a step forward. The more informed and educated in the matter will tell you that this is 100 steps backwards. Next time you're thinking about topics that you presume will best represent a marginalized community, do your due diligence to at least have someone in the creative team from the community, if not in front of the camera, to best communicate the eccentricities essential for communicating a real human story. And that was a video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you thought about this show and this venture. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.